Alright, on to part 2. Still working over this caliper. I did get the dust boot in place. I found that it is definitely easiest to get it worked in by hand, but now it's time to get the piston in. So let's see if we can get that piston in. So let's see if I can balance you very precariously and still keep you in frame here. So I am being careful because I don't want to pull the boot out of its gallery or ridge. I'm going to try and slip this. This in, we can hitch it there. Sometimes it helps to have 3 hands. The doctor's working on that. I just need to find somebody who's willing to give up an extra arm and maybe part of their brain. Alrighty, got it. And then it just comes down to forcing that down in there, and that just seated right inside its ridge. Key trick is making sure you don't roll it, and then re-inspect it. Make sure that dust boot is down in there. So it may have come up a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it might reseat. This side is a bit of a different story. This side did not seat at all. Unfortunately, that is in there now. So I'm going to grab a little pokey device and carefully poke at it to see if I can get it to reseat back in. And it looks like it may have actually just reseated. Be careful, you don't want to damage these. Alright, we'll get the other one in. So we're going to work our way over here to the other side. And I'll go ahead and turn it like that for now. And we'll just fish this down in here. Like so. Just like that. Make sure it's nice and smooth all the way around. Visually inspecting to make sure that it's in there. Now there is going to be some gaps. The ring is going to be slightly narrower than the ridge that it's supposed to sit into, and that is the way it is designed, because this has got to be able to flex back and forth so that it can do its job, not only acting as a seal, but also acting as a return spring. So now we're going to take our other boot, and this can get a little tricky. In fact, it's going to get a lot tricky. And I'm going to go ahead and get the first ridge started. I'm just going to work my way around getting this seated. The old tailgater generator is still powering away out there. Now it's kinking up a little bit right here, and the same thing on the other side. But you can just force it down. Force it down inside that cavity, it'll straighten itself out. A little kinkage right here. It just doesn't want to go down in there. Let me turn this so I can better see. And I'm just going to roll this right down in there. Just like that. There we go. That's sitting down in there. And of course, you just saw me install that first piston, but I'm going to go ahead and get this one installed real quick, because I hate doing the first part as a long video and then the second part as a short video. Plus, we still got the new bleeder screws to install. So once again, I'm going to need to turn this sideways and then get this, at least try and get this started. Yeah, took it right out of the ridge. Now I'm going to reflex it back in there. That's one of the things you want to avoid, but it's bound to happen at least a couple dozen times or so. Especially if this is your first brake caliper rebuild. This is my first time doing twin piston calipers. I've done a single piston caliper before. That was a long time ago, and I found that whatever I did on that single piston caliper to successfully rebuild that don't apply here. So I'm having to relearn these things all over again, all new experiences, but that's okay. Okay, we got that down in there. Just go ahead and start pushing that down in there. Alrighty, well, it looks like everything's set. Dust boots in place. So now, this is where the C-clamp and the old brake pad comes in play. So there we have it. The other one's not pushed down quite as far. now, this is where that bleeder screw goes in. Actually, that's where your brake hose goes in. Bleeder screw goes on the other side. You know how I can tell? There's a little ribbed ridge right here on the outside of that hole, that threaded hole. That is where your crush washer sits. So your new bleeder screw is going to go in right there. And there's a new bleeder screw for you. Yeah, just put that in. Oh, hand tight seems fine. A little hand tight right there. That'll hold it just fine. So now, the bleeder screw is in. This caliper is essentially complete. It's ready. But I'm going to go ahead and get everything seated and set. And I'm going to need a C-clamp. Helps if this is flipped over the right way. I'm just going to snug this up a little bit, just enough for it to hold. That's all we need. May need 2 C-clamps on this, but we'll see. Need to find my little rubber tip. Alright, so the other one is pushed out about level with the other one there. We're going to give it a true air test. I'm going to go ahead and find my rubber tip, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Situation averted, but tested okay. I found the tip, which helps out great. You want to have that rubber tip on this because it's going to create a seal right here where the banjo bolt goes. In turn, forcing air into these chambers, which is going to help force and seat the piston calipers. You'll want to do this a couple of times. And first thing you'll want to do is you want to take a brake pad. This is why I always hold on to at least a decent set of old brake pads for these calipers. Alright, I don't throw them away. The other sets I'll throw away, but I keep at least one good set around. You want to get that locked in there just like that. And then you want to turn this over. And just with the one C-clamp, I'll get you balanced precariously. But with one C-clamp, you're going to want to get that tightened on there enough to where it ain't going to move. Let's see if I can show you what I'm doing here. So you got the C-clamp like this set up. And it's right across the center because you're not abstracting the pistons at this point. So for a twin piston doing this test, you only need just the one C-clamp at center. Alright, because you want both pistons to have just that little bit of free motion, that free play. And what you're looking at here is the dust boots. So now you take your air hose with your air supply. You stick it in there like that, and you apply air. You're forcing them pistons out. Now, let's say you got them completely collapsed. They're squished in there pretty good. Alright, so how you gonna correct that? Now that'll come in handy when you're installing them onto the new rotors with the new pads and everything. You're going to want to have them collapse down. Alright, that's okay. Now there's quite a bit of air lodged in there, so I'm thinking I'm getting some blow-by on the new O-ring. I don't know. We'll take a look though, but there really shouldn't be a whole lot of air in there unless it's being trapped between the edge of the piston and that little ring, but there really shouldn't be a whole lot of air in there. Alright, that's bubbling pretty good. So let's grab the old aeration here and set that in. We'll apply a bit of air, and then we'll loosen just a smidge. And it moved a little bit. That's good. Now we'll loosen just a smidge. And it moves some more. We like movement. We're just going to let that out just a bit more, not enough to release it. See, I'm doing this one-handed, so this is the one-handed technique. I'm more partial to the two-handed technique, but I don't have a cameraman. Loosen it another quarter turn or half a turn. I'm doing quarter turns. Quarter turns, quarter values, whichever you want to call it. It's all good. Now you saw how this one flexed a little bit right here. And I can feel there's air. There's quite a bit of air in these. But it's trapping the air. That's a good thing because that means fluid's not going to be able to get out. If air can't escape, fluid can't escape. But it could always prove me wrong. And I have been proven wrong before. So I'm just going to give this another teeny tiny little loosening. These are just about out to where they need to be. There. Now they're set. So I'm going to take this C-clamp off. Move this. Now they're both level. They're in there. I'm trying to see. Okay, I just released the air out of that one. This one still got air built up in it, which I think I just released that. Now a lot of air inside the dust boot tells me that I'm probably getting blow-by on the O-rings. See, and that one's collapsed. So I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, we'll say it's good. But if you're getting that, go back in and recheck your O-rings. Alright, just carefully abstract these the way I showed you. With two hands it's easier to use the C-clamps while holding the air on. I'm by myself, I have no camera stand, I have no cameraman. So I wasn't too concerned about these pistons because I'm not reusing them, obviously. But it seems how I had all new pistons and everything. You want to carefully abstract these. So use the C-clamps and the brake pads and carefully abstract these so you can get in there and check those square cut O-rings. And once you've determined what the problem is and you've gotten it corrected, you'll have yourself a fully functional set of brake calipers. And that's pretty much all there is to it, to rebuilding a set of these twin piston calipers. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean that one up and rebuild it off camera because I showed you the disassembly on that old cruddy nasty thing and then the reassembly on this not so cruddy but old not so nasty thing. So that is your how to disassemble and reassemble, or basically rebuild, a set of twin piston calipers off of a 1989 Ford F250 XLT Lariat heavy duty. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. So, as always, I'm Dr. Frankentruck, and I'll see you next time on the operating table.